Goose, what koala? I gotta reach it. Yeah, there we go. I keep that charged. Makes it better. Makes it work better. There we go. Awesome. Can we hear me? Can we see me? Are we good? There we are. Hey bro, can I ask you something? Yeah, go ahead. What's up, Don? How you doing, man? Welcome, welcome. How you say that? The Honer? How do you say that? I have no idea how to say that name. The Honorandones? Is that like a Mexican name? Like a Spanish name? Probably not saying that correctly. Sorry if I butchered it. My bad. My girl just left and abandoned me after I gave her everything and she left me at my lowest. Yeah, that sounds about right. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. You were used. You were abused. And that's your fault. You simply did not understand the rules of the game you were playing. I'm sorry that came as a surprise to you. I can understand the pain you're going through. It's very painful. It's, happens to the best of us. But it's not surprising. It really isn't. As tragic as that may be, that is what's supposed to happen. When you give a woman that much access to you and an ability to replace you at will, yeah, they will. That's kind of how this thing goes. It's not because they're evil either. It's not because they're these evil, sadistic creatures that are just always looking for an opportunity to take advantage of you. Okay, they kind of are, but not the evil part. They are looking for an opportunity to take advantage of you, but that can only happen if you give them that opportunity. So it's still your fault. You feel me? Hey, what's going on, ESAT? How you doing, man? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How do I cope or what do I do? First things first, mourn the relationship. I keep telling you guys, whenever you go through a harsh breakup, abandonment or of any kind, the end, abrupt, unexpected end of any relationship that you were heavily emotionally and psychologically invested in, the first step is to mourn the relationship. Understand two very important things. One, that relationship is over. Two, you are never getting it back, right? Am I saying it's impossible to recover an ex? You can recover an ex, but even in the cases where you do recover an ex, the relationship you create with the ex is going to be very different than the one you had before. So you have to give yourself the chance to properly mourn the death of that relationship. People underestimate that. A relationship is an interesting ecosystem because it creates its own environment within your life. And to see that completely stripped away from you by force abruptly, it definitely is going to, take a toll on you psychologically. And you should allow for that pain to be felt. You should allow yourself to really grieve the loss of the value and the convenience that relationship provided to you, right? So give yourself time to actually mourn. If you got to get on your knees, get in the fetal position, cry about it, whatever you have to do, whatever your process is. You can do something symbolic too. I always advise that. It's always important to do something symbolic. Take a picture of you and her, burn it to ashes, throw the ashes in the river, whatever the hell you got to do. Right? An item that represented your relationship, a show that you used to watch together, it's kind of music you used to listen to together. Enjoy it one last time with just you. I mean, not one last time, but enjoy it one last time like as if she's there. And then when that show is over, give, in your mind, her your goodbyes. But then after you're done mourning the relationship, it's time to do a complete 180 and move forward. That's how you should be treating it, okay? Hey, what's going on, Aaron? How you doing, man? How you doing, Unc? Someone was like, you're Nigerian, you're not Unc, you're Baba. And I'm like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. I'm not Unc, I'm Baba. Call me Baba. I'm Baba Jace. Let's see. I didn't see came to me. She came to you? Is that what you're saying? Like she came to you? I don't get the context. Probably enlighten me on that. What's going on, Nep? How you doing? Welcome. Andrew Scholl's talking about how he was Buck Break Kendrick was not surprising and not cool. First of all, this is why no one takes black people seriously, because we find a way to be so sensitive in our existence that we connect everything back to slavery. You gotta break out of that psychological prison. Like, please, I'm begging people, please, my people, you gotta break out of that. If you can be so sensitive and so in your feelings about anything that happens around you, that you find a way to connect it back to some point of struggle or suffering in the past, a past, by the way, that you weren't even there to live, then that's a prison you're choosing to stay in, right? It's ridiculous. Let's say that was the case. Let's say that Andrew Scholl did say that, specifically to, like, try to tell Kendrick Lamar, yeah, that's right, boy, get back in your place. How dumb would it be of Kendrick Lamar to fall into that trap and be like, well, no, you can't bug break me. Like, come on. You instantly lose the frame. You lose the battle doing that by fighting the frame of, I'm not going to get buck broken. Just saying I'm not going to get buck broken in itself is admitting that that person, this white person, has the power to buck break you. You're dumb for doing that. That's a dumb thing to do. See, that's the trick that's being... I can get into this for days, man. I can talk about this for fucking years. But it's these little tricks that are designed to keep you playing in a game that you really don't have to play anymore. It's goofy. Hold on, it's not balancing out right. How's this, guys? Is this better? Is this good? I hope this is good. Come on, Studio Light, do your thing. Also, is this one better, or is the cold one better, or is the warm one better? I prefer the somewhere in the middle, the white. So, let me know. Give me your your opinions in the comments. But back to this whole the psychology thing. Nothing holds up the idea, this false concept of white supremacy in any way more than black people that are still scared of it. Straight up, that's the truth. Almost everything most black people do in America today just reaffirms white supremacy because of the fear and the overly cautiousness and paranoia around it. It's goofy. It's a goofy way to live. We're free, which is a goofy thing for me to say, but I have to say it. Apparently, we're better than that. Like, come on, we can do better than that. Yeah, well, at work I did tease to some girl, and she took it so bad that my coworkers heard her complain. Hey, learn from your mistakes. I told you that would happen. I told you those type of things will happen, right? So it's okay. Learn from those mistakes. 20 versus 1 with Jace coming soon. Oh, like TikTok beef? Hey, it is what it is. Every time these things happen, I get more popular, so it's all good. Jace, you've been acting distant. I've missed you. I missed you too, man. I'm here now. I'm here, baby. How you doing? What's up? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Agreed. Losing a friend as well as a girl. I feel that, man. It's always harsh whenever it's more than one loss at the same time. You know, the girl and the friend. There's a Nigerian song about that. Those of you in Nigeria or from Nigeria, you know this song from back in the day. It's called Omogemi. Omogemi, Atipadimi, iye. So, Omoge in Yoruba means like chick, girl, my girlfriend. Omogemi, my girl. And then Ati Padimi, Ati is and, Padimi, Padi is friend. So my girl and my friend, and that's the entire like story behind that song. It's like he didn't know his girl and his friend were playing him behind his back, and he found out. And the chorus is like, if it's you, what are you gonna do about it? What would you do to your girlfriend? And what would you do to your best friend? Like, this is your friend. How are you gonna treat that situation? It's a very interesting song, but that situation happens a lot more commonly than people realize. You know? Go on searches on YouTube, by the way. It's made by a group called P Square. Think of them like Usher if Usher had a twin brother. That's what P Square is. And yeah, they're huge in Africa. Actually, they're huge all over the world, but you know, they broke up a few years ago. It's kind of sad. Let's see. I told her stuff about me I kept hidden from for years. Who told you to do that? I mean, if you really think about it, right, if we're honest as men, that's probably the biggest reason breakups hurt, right? A big reason a lot of breakups hurt for most men is because they think about not just the sunk cost, right? The amount of investment that they not have to let go of and not see a return on, but it's allowing her to get so close to you that you feel vulnerable around her. It's those moments of vulnerability that you really do regret. And the solution to that is simple. 2 things. 1, don't allow yourself to think that being vulnerable is bad. It's very important. I'm not saying that you should just be vulnerable every time with everyone. Like, obviously, make sure she earns that. She actually puts in the work to get to that point with you. But at the same time, understand that if at all you showed her parts of yourself that you hid from other people, it's okay. That's what comes with a relationship. More than likely, if you did things correctly, she showed you parts of herself that she doesn't show to other people as well. Right? Unless you just gave her and didn't ask for anything in return, in which case, yes, go cry about it. But again, what are you going to do? Regardless, what are you really going to do? Except, well, cry about it. So, yeah, she's run away with all your secrets, and there's just about nothing you can do. Best thing to do going forward is create new secrets. Create a more interesting, more fulfilling life. That way, you can move forward knowing that whoever you bestow your new secrets on will actually earn them. You feel me? Let's see. Just saw another video of a police officer giving slop to an inmate. I'm guessing female police officer giving slop to it's a lot more common than people realize. So, you know. I never was open and she tore me down and threw me away. You gave her access to doing that to you, so don't blame her. It's very easy to get intoxicated with the idea that it's all her fault and that she's this evil witch that just did nothing but be malicious towards you. But you have to understand, she did what she did on an evolutionary level. Oh, hey, buddy, what's up? Come here. She did what she did on an evolutionary level for her own survival. Do you understand what I'm saying? Women do things from a place of fear most of the time. They're doing it because they're safety-oriented creatures. And they're right, buddy. Right? Very safety-oriented creatures. Damn, you got crust in your eyes, my boy. Safety-oriented creatures. That's why they do a lot of the things they do. So if she screwed you over in your mind, you got to understand, she didn't do it because she just maliciously hated you and wanted to find a way to fuck you over. She more than likely did it, buddy, chill, relax. She more than likely did it, sit for me. Thank you. She more than likely did it because she felt like in that moment that was the safest bet for her. That was the way she needed to keep herself safe and protected. Does that make sense? You were probably acting like a little emotional bitch, and she went, man, I don't feel safe with this guy because he's using me as his emotional tampon. I need a man that has a little more self-control than that. All right, and that's this discipline you have to work on, right? A lot of men, they find someone to tell secrets to, and it becomes exciting. Like, oh, I can just tell her everything, and nothing bad will happen. And then you very quickly realize after she dumps you that, yeah, something bad will happen. As a man, you don't get to just keep being Mr. Weak every single time. That's stupid. Because now you're inspiring fear in her. You're letting her know she's not with someone she can trust with her safety and her protection. So, yeah, of course she found a way to replace you, and she did. Women 101, am I right? So, yeah, Godspeed, though. How long have I been live? I just got here. What, 5 minutes ago? Got a long question? Go for it. In the previous slide, we said that the difference between the main guy and the option is the behavior. Can you go into more detail and how to analyze all your behaviors and determine which ones are behaviors of the main guy and which ones are the ones of an option, and how do you develop new behaviors if needed? So I always tell people, the best way to judge behavior, human behavior, do not knock that over. I will be angry with you. Chill out. The best way to determine behavior is to figure out where it's coming from. So I'm very focused on intent. I almost never focus on the behavior itself. Whenever you hear me talking about people and how they do things and what they do, I never talk about the actual behavior itself. I talk about where it comes from, because that's what matters. The difference between behavior or actions and decision making from a place of strength versus a place of weakness is the intention it's coming from. the context also matters, obviously, like how much anxiety was going through them when they made the decision, their level of pain tolerance, their level of discipline, stuff like that. But for the most part, it's you can either do something because you're running away from a consequence, or do something because you actually are making a solid decision from a place of certainty. That's pretty much it. There's a guy that, for instance, let's say buying flowers, right? On one level, you can think of it like one guy is attractive versus the other guy is unattractive, so she accepts one flowers and the other she thinks is creepy. But on a different level, a deeper level, you can see it as one guy is using the flowers to try to buy her love. Oh, if I buy her these flowers, I'm one step closer to getting some pussy. That's how one guy thinks about it. The other guy thinks about it because, you know what? She's been a good girl. I'm going to give her this little bit of validation to make her feel special. And because those are the two different intentions, the way they'll go about giving the flowers, when they'll actually give the flowers and the context of the relationship before they actually start giving flowers will be entirely different. One guy will probably think it's a good idea to give her the flowers before getting the pussy, because in his mind, I'm going to use these flowers to get the pussy. The other guy doesn't even think of getting her flowers until after he's already created a sexual relationship with her. Then he goes, you know what? She did that little trick I like in bed. That was cool. I'll make her feel special. Here's some flowers, bitch. Entirely different mindset, entirely different intentions. So whenever you want to figure out, like, you know, what behaviors are the correct ones or the other, don't look at the behaviors. You're looking in the wrong place. Look at the intention. The next time you want to do something with a girl, for a girl, to a girl, around a girl, whatever, don't ask yourself what to do next. Ask yourself what intention you want to have, what intention you are having, and where it's coming from. Like, are you doing something because you want to relieve yourself of anxiety? Or are you doing something because you actually have certainty in yourself and this is what you want to do? Like, even in doing stuff like asking for a phone number or telling her you're going on a date, something like that. The difference ultimately between one guy or the other, because they're doing the same thing, the real difference is the intention they have behind it. One guy's getting the phone number because in his mind, oh, I have to get the phone number. I hope I don't fuck it up. And by the time I get it, I'll run the fuck away in the opposite direction because I don't want to say anything that will ruin my chances of using this phone number correctly. And the other guy is so relaxed and calm in his intentions and his way of seeing things and his frame control that he sees the number as just another medium of communication with this bitch. He's not pressed about it. It's not the point of the conversation. He might ask her for a number at the end. He might ask her for a number before he even ends the conversation. It doesn't really matter. In his mind, the number is just the way to get to talk to the girl later, if at all he feels like it. Right? So it always starts with the person you are in here. That guy, the one, the voices in your head speaking to you, right? Randy Orton, I hear voices in my head. You know, that's where it starts from. If the voices sound frantic, scared, and anxious, it's going to lead you down certain behavior or manner of behaving that make you look weak. If the voices in your head sound very confident, very certain, then it's going to lead you down a different path. So that's how you want to look at it, okay? In the last live, you said check out the video called Mistakes Men Make in a Relationship. Couldn't find it. I probably have a different... Hold on. I gotta go on YouTube. Am I done with the download? Because I know I made the videos. I always know what videos I make, right? I just can't remember what I title them on YouTube. You know? I always forget the title. But I remember it's there. It's I think the name is Attraction Killers. I think that's the name. Attraction Killers. Go on YouTube, type in Jace the Pickup Scientist, Attraction Killers. You should see the video there. It should be Attraction Killers. I gotta check though. Let me confirm. I'm pretty sure it's Attraction Killers. Attraction Killers 101 or 7 Attraction, something like that. I can't remember what it was, but I know it was Attraction Killers, right? Let's see. Me and my girl got in a car accident after that happened. She's been giving me crazy amounts of attention. Why is that? Because you probably behaved after the accident in ways that lets her know that you can handle a crisis. I've literally, and I've told this story on live before, right? An ex-girlfriend of mine, this was actually back in Nigeria, that I survived a car accident with my best friend. He was driving. And we ended up dating for a couple of years, right? And the reason for that, even though, by the way, she was actually wanting my best friend before that point, and then after that, she got with me instead, is because I behaved better in a time of crisis than my best friend did. He was all over the place. He was damn near having psychosis. He was going crazy. He had crashed his uncle's car. I was completely calm about the whole situation. I had to like fucking whip him into shape to like get him off the road and not have him run into the fucking highway and get himself killed. But yeah, when women notice that you have the ability to be calm under pressure, it's a very attractive thing. So it makes sense that she would see you as her safe haven. It's a good way for her to reaffirm that the relationship is what she wants, you know? Women just want to feel safe. How to differentiate between a good woman relationship material and a girl that shouldn't be taken seriously if body count isn't the number one factor? Well, that's the thing, my friend. Body count isn't the number one factor. And with that same idea and thinking, understand that there's no such thing as a good or bad woman. It's the same women, dude. The same women you call bad have the capacity for good. The same women you call good have the capacity for bad. The difference in what makes one woman good or one woman bad is really two things. One, their own personal level of discipline, and that usually has to do with their experience of in life, having a father figure in their life up to that point, blah, blah. And two, the man they're in front of. I can show you so many examples of women treating, in real time, one man a certain way and a different man a different way. So it's not that she's good or she's bad or she's evil and she's a saint. Like, nah. Women change their behavior depending on whatever environment or person they're in front of. They're chameleons. That's what they are. All right? It's called attraction killers. Thank you, Dimitri. Avoid doing or saying these things to keep attraction alive. Thank you so much, Dimitri. I appreciate you. How you doing, by the way? But yeah, literally copy what Dimitri just wrote there in the pinned comment. Go put that on YouTube. You should see, the video there. But yeah, that's how it works. Women aren't good or evil. Women just are. Women just are. Now, what makes a woman good ultimately is you. You have to make sure that you're the one in her mind that is so consequential that she's willing to be on her fucking best behavior for you. And if women like you, that's what they'll always be. They'll always be on their best behavior for you, right? Let's see. It was all a bit silly. Oh, my bad. Did I go overboard with something? I apologize if I went too far. You said Kendrick has a savior complex, always trying to save black people. Is that bad if I'm the same way? Very bad, because it's a trap. It's a psychological prison that a lot of black people are in, unfortunately. You know, Dr. Umar Johnson has gotten very rich off of that very complex, because black people are not in trouble. Black people in America especially are just about the richest black people, except for Nigerians, of course, the richest black people on the planet. Honestly, probably still richer than Nigerians, because it's only a few of us that are really killing it. The majority of my country is still stuck in poverty, right? So black people in America are the most privileged kind of black people on this planet, by far. That's why we all want to get in this country and get in here and shovel and dig and take advantage of the opportunities. But when you tell a bunch of privileged people that they're actually in bondage and in chains, even though they're not, then you can convince those people to give you their money in exchange for the key to those chains. It's all a grift. It's all a grift. And it's not real. It's not real. The average black person can become very, very emotionally unburdened, psychologically open, and financially free if they just stop believing that, one, everyone is out to get them, two, the white man is trying to hold them down, and three, there's no way for them to get out. They're like, come on. Like, as many Nigerians come to this country and we do what we do, like, come on. Stop it. The winning is all around you if you can just open your eyes and never let anyone that's already broken out the matrix sell you on keep like being in the Matrix. Because Kendrick done made it years ago. He's out, right? So to come around and start selling that same slave mentality that clearly he had to break out of to become who he is, I think that's disingenuous. I do. How you been, L. Ross? How you doing, man? I had this dilemma with a friend, which is better for a long-term relationship, a girl with 25 one-night stands or a girl who had one man but was in a relationship with him for 10 years. By the way, your law of overcompensation is very true. I was in a dry spell for a few months after a difficult life event. I went hard on dating apps, clubs, bars, to the point I almost had... I'm guessing there's more, but sure, I'm happy you applied the law of overcompensation because it's very important. If you're in a lower deficit, you have to work hard to get out of it, right? It is what it is. And a lot of men underestimate how much work they have to do to get out of the deficit they're in, which is why they try a few things here and there and they think, oh, dating doesn't work, well, I'm out, the game is unreal, the black pill. In reality, you just got to put in a lot more effort than you probably thought you needed to. And boom, now you're getting girls in your life again. Congratulations. With that said, though, as far as the body count thing, which girl is better, which one listens to you more? It doesn't really matter. Oh, she has 25 one-night stands. Oh, she's been in a relationship for 10 years. They'll have their quirks. They'll have their pros and cons. Like, for instance, the girl that's been in a relationship with the one guy for 10 years, she's going to suck in bed. I promise you. She's going to fucking suck in bed because she only knows how to fuck one guy, right? So you have a lot to teach her sexually. You probably have a lot to teach her relationship-wise as well because she's so inundated with the routine she had with old boy. So you have to break her out of whatever routine she was in with him and teach her your routine. Like, if you ever dated a new girl and she just does something for you and she thinks she's being proactive, but it's like, I don't fucking... Like, this is not my thing. My bad, baby. This is not my thing. I don't care. Like, I had a girl make me grits one time. And I'm like, it was like I slept over at her place and she made me grits the next morning. Like, it was the whole breakfast and then grits. And I don't eat no fucking grits. What is this? But that was what she did for X. She didn't tell me, but I put two and two together and was like, oh, this is clearly the treatment she used for X that worked. And you know the human brain, the way we work, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So she probably just assumed, oh, it worked on my ex-boyfriend, it'll probably work on this guy I'm trying to hold down. Didn't work. I'll fuck with grits. Don't worry, she fixed it. She made me pancakes instead. But yeah, that's one thing you have to keep in mind. If she's been with that dude for a long time, a lot of bad habits. So, I mean, not all of them. You know, some of the things that she did for him, you'll like too. So, hey. With a girl with 25 one-night stands, she's going to be a lot more sexually experienced, so you're not going to have problems there. Another thing, though, now you're going to have the opposite problem when it comes to discipline. So the girl with one man for 10 years is probably going to have a lot more discipline than the one that's had 25 one-night stands. So you're going to have to adjust for that. You know, so it's pros and cons and pros. You just kind of balance everything. What's the true definition of fornication? Shit, nobody knows. That's the irony to it. Nobody knows. But that's not even the question you should be asking. It's a good start as a question because I know where this conversation is leading to. We're talking about the Bible and how the Bible uses the word fornication. Fornication was created as a way to, like, summarize all of what the Bible refers to as sexual immorality. And then through the years, through generation after generation, transliteration, retranslations, and stuff like that, we've now come to know fornication as sex outside of marriage, which is the furthest thing from what it originally meant in context. Like, the furthest thing from what the word fornication was designed to mean to begin with. Like, the original Greek word, I can't remember what it is. Not hevel. Hevel is a different word. Hevel is vapor, gas. That's what, you know, Solomon meant in Ecclesiastes when he said life is hevel. Life is vapor. I'm thinking about a different Greek word. But the word didn't actually mean fornication. The word meant sexual immorality. And if you look at, you know, because Christianity in particular is an Abrahamic religion, their definition of sexual immorality was a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot more gruesome and a lot more serious than just two consenting adults having sex outside of marriage. Does that make sense? Like, sexual immorality was like fucked up shit. Like, you fuck a cow, you know? I probably shouldn't say that on TikTok. Let me chill out. But like, stuff like that. Like, you do some messed up sexual shit, that's sexual immorality. And it was all put in the same umbrella of what we now have interpreted as sexual immorality. But then we decided, okay, let's come up with a word for it, fornication. And some way, somehow, sex outside of marriage became like the part of that, and it's just not the case, you know. But hey, I might be lying. I keep telling you guys, do not trust me 100%. Please, 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 please do your own research. All right, it's very important. Do your own research. Okay. All right. Let's see. I already read all these. Jace, you notice girls will start to sing to get your attention? Oh, all the time. Yeah. Girls act weird when they want your attention. Very, very interesting and weird. Women are they feel a lot of tension when they're around a guy that they feel is attractive. So they tend to do very interesting things. I wish it was as easy as back in the day where it's like, oh, just if she, brushes her finger through her hair. It's usually a lot more complex than that these days, especially with like the rise of social media, TikToks. Everyone has a new stimmy or tick. It's weird, but yeah, women do weird shit, dude. Difficult life event. All right, no. Let's say you want to develop a country in Africa. How do you avoid the elite? You know who. So it's gonna come down to three things. If America, I said America, like America's in Africa. If African countries want to develop without, for lack of a better way of saying it, outside interference, then we have to think about it from three different points of view. Our resources, our economic monetary system, that is the way money flows from hand to hand in our economy, and our relationship with other African countries. Those are the three. If we can become independent in those three areas, we win. Now, no matter how that shapes up, there's gonna be a fight, because a lot of countries depend on leeching on Africa for their survival. And best believe, any organism in any environment, any given environment, is going to fight tooth and nail for their survival, right? So don't be surprised. I'm already forgiving them in advance, right? Like, I'm not mad at them. I get it. If I was in their position, I'd do the same thing too. But it has to be done in such a smooth and systematically efficient way that you have everyone on board doing the exact same thing, and then there's a way we can protect ourselves while we're figuring out our own system. Like, that's the hard part. Gaining independence is usually not the hard part. It's creating something that works for you that doesn't reflect what the outsiders have created. That's the issue, right? Like, I mean, take my country for instance. Nigeria is like a young country, barely 70 years old, like 60 something. It makes no sense for us to run any kind of government system that remotely resembles anything the West has. The fact that we have presidents that switch out every 4 years is very stupid. Like, really think 4 years, we got a country that young, and we think it's gonna take 4 years for a president to make any major, massive progress in the right direction? Like, come on. We gotta look at Rwanda. What did Rwanda do? Paul Kagame, he unified the country, and then he bent the laws so that he can stay in office for 10 extra years. Now, you might be like, oh, can we trust a Nigerian leader to not become a dictator? The only way forward might be to have a dictator. Look at El Salvador. Ain't no democracy over there. Can't be a democracy. It cannot work as a democracy. Not for a country that young and that, and it's still in its infantry stages, if that makes sense. Repin that comment for me, please. My bad, I didn't read it. But we have to treat ourselves like a brand new entrepreneur on the market and understand that we have to put in groundwork that all these other countries haven't had to do in years. We don't get to compare ourselves to an America because America's been going for 400 fucking years plus, and they've had a lot of help to get to where they are, infrastructurally, labor-wise, etc. We don't get to just start copying them now and playing by their rules and we expect progress. It's not gonna work. This is not gonna work. You know, we gotta start copying America back in the 1700s. Whatever them motherfuckers were doing, that's what we have to start doing now. And we'll probably do it a lot better and faster because we have better technology. And we can see from the mistakes they made and not make those mistakes. You feel me? What the fuck is that? Go get it, boy. What's that? Oh, it just fell off. That's fine. I got a high school ex who's now super rich, like a millionaire status, but she's 5. Is it worth it? Nah, not really. Unless you're homeless. If you're at the brink of homelessness, absolutely it's worth it. You know, get her to co-sign on an Escalade for you or something. Not the Escalade, you know. Get some money, put it into crypto or something. But be careful with crypto, though. That's a zero-sum game. But yeah, it's only if you're desperate. If you're brokey broke, sure, why not? Don't let it last long, though, because that's a trap you'll fall into. Comfort is very tempting, you know, so be very careful with that. Get in, get out. Some that keep staring at me randomly, seeing when they notice you, to maybe say something to them. Maybe, yeah. Trying you of you. What are you talking about? Oh, I see what you're talking about, yeah. It is indeed, Philip. How you doing? I mean, he could turn her hot, like a side project. That's possible. How you doing, by the way, Fish Army? If that is an option. The problem, I mean, I wouldn't say it's much of a problem, but it will require some skill. Because a woman in that position, they become a little more restless, right? They feel like they already figured it out. Some of the most miserable women on the planet are rich women. Unattractive rich women, because they think their money makes up for their lack of attractiveness, but it just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work the same way for men as it does for women. It just doesn't. And so they go their entire lives trying to use their money to circumvent their lack of attractiveness, but it just doesn't work. And they usually take too long to finally come to the conclusion and find out, oh, it actually doesn't work for women. It actually doesn't work for men either, but even worse for women than men. I really can't use money on either side to circumvent a lack of actual attractiveness. And when I say actual attractiveness, I'm not just talking about physical looks either. Leather jacket, I wish I closed, but too much people around me. What are we talking about? Who got a leather jacket? How do you develop the right intentions? Is it more of a self-serving, self-love mindset? Pretty much, yeah, it's self-belief. It's self-belief in a nutshell. It's a combination of self-belief. Like, this is how you want to put it. This is how you want to see it in your mind. You always want to ask yourself, before you do or say anything, it'll sound tedious and cumbersome at first, but you really want to try to scrutinize everything you do and then ask yourself, okay, if I am already the highest, best version of me, the most incredible, most self-improved version of me right now, would I do this? Would I say this? Would I interpret this like this? That's how you want to do it. Like, think of yourself in your mind, like, put that image in your head as you, like that amazing ultimate version of you. He's got the fucking money you want, size fucking penis you want, six-pack you want, everything. Like, he's the guy. He's you, but he's the guy. Amazingly improved. You gotta ask yourself, okay, that guy, would he allow this to happen? How would he interpret this if this happened to him? Would he say this like this? Would he do this like this? Now, that guy, that version of you, is probably very big on his value and his self-respect, right? And it would be it's very easy to figure out, you know, what actions have weaker intentions versus the others. because it becomes very clear cut at that point. When you see it from the point of view of your best realized version of yourself, it's very easy. It's very, very easy. How to be consequential to a woman. Listen to all my advice. Literally watch all my videos. Every single thing I talk about is leading you towards just that. I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well, man. I hope you're well too. We never got to talk, did we? Sometimes you need to give people a chance to save themselves, pretty much. Can you dream too big? Is there such a thing as dream too big? Sometimes I think I dream too big. There's no such thing as dreaming too big. Most of the time, most people dream too fucking small. As big as you think your dreams are, they're probably not big enough, to be honest. A lot of you are too comfortable with the bare minimum, right? You're too comfortable with living this life and going through this life in a very mediocre manner. We should do a 2024 recap stream. Sure, why not? That sounds fun, actually. Trying to practice honest vulnerability, but if that vulnerability is my not yet overcome neediness, is it better kept to myself? Probably, yeah, because vulnerable or not, neediness will always be unattractive. Does that make sense? What is your take on the hate of South Asians all across social media? People saying they sick of that demographic constantly. Well, okay, let's be honest here. Let's really be honest here. I have a lot of South Asians in my life, as friends, as clients, etc. Let's be honest. Let us be honest. If you're getting criticism from a lot of people, there's probably a reason. The reputations never just start by accident. Right? It's like me as a Nigerian getting mad that people call us scammers. It's like, no shit. Been a lot of amazing scammers where I'm from. That's the truth. In every stereotype, there's an element of truth. And so the idea is to take the criticism and make the necessary adjustments so that, not because you want to become more palatable to people, that's not the point, but self-improvement is a hard endeavor. And you need all the help you can get, including from people that are your so-called naysayers. So I would say, instead of take it as everyone hates me, take it as, you know what, maybe I could improve on that. See what happens. Does that make sense? Buddy. No. You can't scratch your butt there. There we go. Thank you. There we go. But yeah, that's how you should see it. It shouldn't be something that you take so personal. Just understand it for what it is and make the necessary adjustments. In the club, join me so we can all be fam. Indeed. That's funny. In the club, we all fam. Numbers, because I don't be risking it at work. Nep, I feel like there's a lot of messages that are missing that TikTok is not putting up. I don't know. I need context. What did you ever cook for her? I'm a cooker, dude. Like, if we're talking about the girl I'm thinking about, the one that made me grits, I probably cook something for her. I cook. I don't really cook for. I don't know if I can say I cook for women. I cook. Sometimes women just eat. It is what it is. I'm a latchkey kid. I grew up an only child, so cooking for me is not this thing I relegate to just the kitchen and women and stuff. I enjoy cooking. I see it as a science, really. I think of the kitchen as a laboratory. So I really enjoy cooking. You know, online monopoly is proof that people will team up and attempt to destroy you if you're too well off. Yes. Oh my God. I have a story to tell about that too, which is funny. I had these two guys because I wasn't budging on a certain deal. Which, by the way, to this day, I believe I wasn't being unfair about. You know, sometimes the fucking cards just land in your favor, right? The roll of the dice. And I had damn near all the property. And it was just like, listen, just give me a little bit of money on top of this to make it worth my while. And they just refused to budge. So they decided they would play this game of every time they landed on one of my properties, instead of just paying me outright, they would... instead of losing to me and getting bankrupt and giving me all their property, they would do this thing where they exchange properties and money so that they can pay me nothing but cash, and then give each other back all their things after they pass my property. I was like, this is impressive. I lost that game, obviously, but I was like, damn, this is very impressive. Very impressive. Let's see. The mod is here. Bow down on mods. Shout out to Fish Army. Let's see. Also, what is the name of the book where they use religion to stop young guys from exploring game? There's no book on that specifically, but there's multiple evolutionary psychology books talking about how social orders or dominance hierarchies are used as a tool for controlling young male sexual propensity, right? So religion or societal rules or, shaming tactics and stuff like that, they're all used to keep young men's dicks in check, especially by older men, right? So you ever had your older pastor be like, sex is bad and you'll go to hell if you fuck a bitch? It's like, yeah, he's scared you'll fuck his wife. So he tells you that in hopes that, because the Bible doesn't say it's wrong for you to take his bitch. I mean, it's wrong for you to fuck his wife. Don't get it twisted. The Bible does say that, but the Bible doesn't really say nothing about if she decides to divorce him and take up with you, that's a bad thing. You feel me? All these different rules are usually just people tacking on to what God said, which God didn't say. Besides, if you understand how impersonal God is, you'll realize God doesn't care if you lose your wife to someone younger. He doesn't. You think he does, he doesn't. He has bigger things to worry about. Well, doesn't worry about much, but you get the point. Let's see. You can read The Strategy of Genes by Waddington. That's a good one. And then I always recommend Sperm Wars by Robin Baker. It's a good one. Let's see. Part 2, she says she's taking things slow. Who are we talking about? The girl? It's Tishetta, is that right? Baba, I know. She's taking things slow. Is it the Jamaican girl we're talking about? She's tripping. Should you join the dancing society in order to meet more women? Sure, if you want to. Sounds fun. You dance. You already break the touch barrier because you're dancing. So that's a great way to go about it for sure. I say join Pilates. That's where all the baddies are. Got a high school ex who's now already read that one. She's been trying to contact me. I've been ignoring her until now. The ex that's got money, that's a 5. She thinks her money makes her better. It doesn't. You can be an evil bastard and just tell her that. You know that, right? You can be an evil bastard and just be like, your money doesn't really change anything. You're still an ugly bitch, right? I'm kidding. Don't do that unless you're trying to be evil that day, okay? Heidi tried and it crushed them because Haiti went about doing it the wrong way. Haiti was hasty and disorganized. That's why Haiti, not just Haiti, a lot of countries have tried and, go and look at Burkina Faso. They're doing a pretty good job right now. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. He not kidding. Yes, I am. Haiti tried and failed because they were disorganized. As a man, eventually you got to get it yourself. Yes, your riches, you won't have respect for yourself if you don't learn how to fend for yourself, Random question, who do you think was closer to the truth, Carl Jung or Freud? That's a good-ass question. I'll always stick more with Jung, though. Jung was crazy, but I think he had a better idea. I wouldn't say they disagree on much, to be honest, when I really think about both of their approaches to life. But I think Jung is more aligned with collective consciousness, if that makes sense. I think Jung got it right more, right, than Sigmund. Do people who don't care about culture annoy you, like wearing other cultures' clothing? Does that annoy me? Is that what you're asking? I'll give you a story just to explain how I feel about that. When I was 13, No, I'm tripping, not 13. When I was, how old was I? 17 or 18. I think I was just about to turn, or just turn 18. I had to go to London, England, right, to visit a grave site, unfortunately. A family member of mine had passed away. My auntie, rest in peace, Aunt Stella. She passed away from a tumor. And unfortunately, we couldn't get our visa together to go see her before she passed. One of the biggest regrets in my life to this day. But me and my mom, we finally were going to London, and we were going to meet up with my other auntie when we got there. Now, we landed in Heathrow Airport on, I want to say, Wednesday morning, something like that. And me, my auntie, and my mom had reunited because my auntie was already in London waiting for us. We met up with each other, exchanged pleasantries. It's been years since we saw each other. Tears flowed, all that good stuff. And she was like, okay, cool, let's take all the bags and let's go outside. Our taxi's waiting to take us to the apartment that she had, booked out for us. As we're walking through the departure terminal, well, actually the arrival terminal, I got them mixed up. The arrival terminal for the people that just arrived and are walking out of the airport, I see a family walking towards us. It was a man, his wife, and 2 kids. A little boy walking with the mom, and the dad holding like a little girl. And I realized they were in complete Nigerian attire, like the Yoruba attire, gele, agbada, all that stuff. And they look fly, right? They look good. They look good. Yorubas in general know how to dress. So I was like, oh, they got that shit on. Wherever they're going, wedding, funeral, they about to kill it. They look good. But I looked closer and I realized their skin was light. Now, I grew up in Nigeria. Not a lot of white people where I'm from. Every time I've seen anyone with skin that light, they were albino. Pretty much. Not every time, but most of the time. The vast majority of the time, they were albino. So, being that I grew up in Nigeria, I saw people, Yoruba attire, all of them with white skin. My mind just kind of, who the fuck is out here committing crimes and or getting injured? My city's crazy this time of night. Anyway, my mind had just automatically assumed, oh, this is an albino family. A lot of those where I grew up in Nigeria, in Yoruba land, in Lagos, we call them Afin, right? AF, let's call it an I-N. It has an apostrophe on top of it. AFIN, Afin. And I'm like, oh, look at this Afin family. I kind of nudge my mom too while I'm walking with her, like, it's an Afin family. But the closer they got, the more I realized these people don't have the same phenotypical features that I have. Because an Afin person, like an albino person, is just a black person, but with essentially what Michael Jackson had. So they have the same bone structure, high cheekbones, wide noses, big lips, all that good stuff. But these people had small pointy noses, low cheekbones, almost none. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Wait a minute. Blonde hair, blue eye. These are white people. These are white people in Yoruba attire, head to toe. This was the first time in my life I had ever seen no shit like this. Ever in my life. I was like, I look at my auntie, she looks at me, and she kind of gives me this little nod. And I was like, ah! Because she and I understood in that moment something that every African had always wondered, which is, as much as Africa copies the West, how often do they copy us? That day it was confirmed to me. They copy us. They copy our culture too. And it warmed my heart to know that. It did. It really did. Like, that's cool. That's awesome. So till this day, whenever I see a white girl singing along to Burna Boy, it warms my heart. It lets me know that my culture has that much staying and penetration power, that it can infiltrate the minds of people that aren't even from my culture. I like that. I like that. I mean, think about it. The West has overrun the world with their culture. It's only fair we get a turn, right? So I don't really believe in like cultural appropriation or even appreciation. I don't give a fuck. All I know is a certain culture has dominated the entire planet. I mean, look at me right now. I'm an African-born man. I speak better English than most Americans. That doesn't make any sense if you really think about it, right? I was making fun of this the other day too. I saw, who was I with? I guess it was one of my girls. I saw a video on TikTok of Dr. Umar Johnson, right? Mr. Blackity Black Black. But he was in a suit. And I'm like, that's so ironic. Mr. Blackity Black himself, and he's wearing the white man's attire. What's up with that? He got a suit and tie? That is the white man's attire. You know, that is the white man's rapa. That is the white man's gili. That is the white man's agbada. Right? That's the white man's dashiki. And we're speaking the white man's language right now. So, you know, it's like whenever you see the opportunity for the reverse to happen, assuming you have a rich culture, it's like, fuck yeah, let's go. It's our turn, fuck it. Yes. I want these white bitches to sing along to Burna Boy and Wizkid and David Do. I like that. Sing the Yoruba songs, bitch. Let's go. My share honor. Your English is very good. Don't you learn English in your country, though? Oh, yeah, we do. You know, it's not like we don't learn English at all, but we learn English. We learn French. We learn Yoruba. We learn Igbo. We learn all the languages, you know? It's like, what I meant is, like, even that right there, you're kind of proving my point more. We learn English in Nigeria. There's no Yoruba curriculum in any American schools. There's no Igbo or Hausa or Ishekiri or Urobo or Calabar or Ishan, right? Or Fulani or Hausa curriculum in America. And that's just Nigeria. I'm not even talking about Twi from Ghana. I'm not talking about Soweto or Zulu or Xhosa from South Africa. There is, where is it? They got Afrikaans in some colleges here. Afrikaans, really? You know what Afrikaans is? It's not an African language. It's Dutch. It's a Dutch dialect that the Germans that colonized South Africa taught the Africans there. So it's really Dutch. They call it Afrikaans to make you think it's an African language. It's not. Hell, Africa isn't even supposed to be called Africa. That's what white people called it when they got there. See? So, yeah, that kind of, you're proving my point. It's like they've taken advantage of pushing their culture into everything. Is it only fair we get a turn? That's how I see it anyway. Yeah, where are my clothes, bitch? That's right. Where that gilly? Tie that shit. Ashwebi. That's right. The original message I sent that you got on confused was, I learned to be careful to tease. I want you to learn to be careful and socially calibrate. At the same time, though, I don't want you to become scared of teasing. Right? It's like sports. You do something and you fail, or you make a mistake, or you get injured, and now you're too scared to pull the trigger again. Don't be that. Remember, like, calibrate, learn to tease correctly, be smoother, right? And by the way, this is another reason why I like retail so much. It'll teach you the value of indirect approaches, right? Indirect approaches, you will begin to marry the concept of an indirect approach over a direct approach, especially in that situation. But yeah, learn how to calibrate and learn how to adjust, but don't get scared of pulling the trigger. Okay? Let's see. Why you like Lamar so much? Now, did you just call him Lamar? Fuck you. He made a misstep, but I don't all of a sudden hate the guy. Chill out. He's still better than Drake. Fuck wrong with y'all. He's just not righteous right now. But he's not what is that, buddy? He's not a bad guy. He's just, falling off a little bit. That's all. He has a chance to recover. Took your advice, by the way. Gonna start a job that puts me in front of a lot of people starting Wednesday. Excellent. Thank you. I love when you guys actually follow through on the advice I give. That shit is awesome. What is dreaming small? Is being on the internet begging for money, dreaming big. If that was a dig at me, I really try my best. Lord, give me the strength to be humble and not make people cry on this internet, because second of all, I don't beg for money. I sell services. I have a business to run. Third, and this is very important, every dream, and you're probably not going to listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking to everybody else. Every dream has a starting point. Who am I going to use as a good example? Right? Because we always think about how magnanimous the dream is at the end, but we never remember how it starts in the beginning. Does that make sense? Not to say I'm even at the starting point necessarily. I think I'm a little further ahead. I'm not where I need to be yet, obviously. But I'm, not to brag, but I'm a little further ahead than square one, right? Thank God for that. Glory to God for that. With that said, though, it's important to remember this, and this is for the young dudes out there, the young entrepreneurs, the people that want to do something with their lives. Don't forget the days of your small beginnings. They're very important. Very, very important. Because the same skills you learn in those days are what are going to carry you into the future. I mean, we're talking about Kendrick Lamar right now. This entire battle with Drake and how masterfully he executed everything. Do you think that was the first time he's ever done any of that shit? No. He's been battling all his life. He's prepared and made a ton of mistakes up to that point so that he can perfectly execute later and be in the moment of glory he's in right now. So it's very important that you remember the skills you learn along the way. They can't see what you're doing here. This will be revolutionary. That's why I have to, God give me the strength. Because if I start going back to old me and I start bragging, I give my enemies a chance to intercept. And I refuse for that to happen. Right? I got to be more disciplined than that. I refuse for that to happen. You know. I refuse for that to happen. Shall I kick the guy's ass? He's hating in the chat. No. Leave him there. Those usually become my biggest fans, if you guys haven't noticed yet. He has that passion for me because he loves me. He just doesn't know it yet. Leave him. He'll learn. He'll learn. Give him time. It's okay. But I met this cool girl with a sick leather jacket, which I closed, but too much people nearby. Oh, I see. Why did the people nearby stop you? I don't get that. Why did you stop yourself? Why? I don't see how that's an excuse. Well, you were embarrassed. They'll, fucking hear you and be like, oh, he's getting her number. Like, so what? Be like, hey, you mind helping her, look, convince her. I'm a nice guy. Don't I look like a nice guy? I would literally bring other people in on it. Like, excuse me, sir, don't I look respectable? Be careful with that, obviously. You don't want to, sell her on you. That's not the point, but you get the point. Let's see. I think I dream pretty big, though. What would you consider dreaming big? Dreaming big is dreaming outside of your comfort zone. If you can see it and you feel like you can achieve it, then it's probably within your comfort zone. You want to dream so big that you ask yourself, how can I ever accomplish that in one lifetime? And that's what my dreams look like. Even till now, I'm like, I don't see how I'm, going to figure this out. Even if I live to 120, how am I going to pull this shit off? You know what I mean? That's how you know you're dreaming big. I've noticed this too. Something about giving too much info too early. It's probably spiritual. Oh, it's very spiritual. It's very, very spiritual. Extremely spiritual. Because you never know what's listening around you whenever you speak. So it's very important that you don't give them a chance to intercept, right? Why do you think meetings happen in secret places? Why don't meetings just happen in public places? Because things need to be done in secret. Secrecy is important. What's your take on the Fresh and Fit podcast? I've been hearing some news about them recently. I don't know what the fuck they're up to. I think they're in trouble again. Whatever. But I've always called them cornballs. I've always said, those guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about. First of all, I mean, you must be new here, but I've always been against the whole red pill thing because If anything, the red pill makes my job harder. My job is to help men understand women and stop being so scared of women and understand how to have their place with women. You know, have some real control and influence. The red pill teaches men to be scared of women, which I vehemently refuse as an ideology. The red pill teaches men that women are inherently evil and that they must treat women as such, which does nothing in my mind but hinder the success of a lot of relationships out there. You know, I'm not saying that they should be naive and think of women as angels, because they're not. But this idea that, you know, you should think of women as this hard rock game that you, like a zero-sum game where it's either you're winning or she's losing or vice versa, is stupid. You can create win-win situations. It's very easy. It's very, very easy. Are you some type of motivational speaker? I don't mean to be. It happens sometimes by accident, you know. Online monopoly is proof that, oh yeah, I read that one. Numbers because I don't want to risk it at work. Oh yeah, that's fine. You know, your world is not, your? Is that what you mean? Come on. We got to know the difference between your and your, people. Your, with no apostrophe and no E, is possession. Your, with the apostrophe and the E after the R, is really a shorthand for you are. So whenever you say anything, you have to think that your, with the apostrophe, is you are. So would you say, you know, you are world is not real? No, you wouldn't. That's just incorrect grammar. You would say, you know, your world is not real. Okay? Damn, we got to start with like fucking English classes with these dudes. Speaking of, what do you think would be the most ideal form of government? It depends. It's never a one-size-fits-all thing. It depends on where the country is at, where the people are at, how they interact with their country, the mindset of the people, the culture of the people. It's a case-by-case basis type of thing, man. It really depends. You know, say what you want about America's democracy, it might just be the best way they need to go about doing it. With the Electoral College and whatnot, might just be the best way to go about doing it. You know, because when you live in a society like America that's a massive melting pot of different cultures, different priorities, different, you know, value systems and whatnot, then you really can't have just a straight popularity contest, like a popularity vote wins it all. It's not going to work out. Because whether we like to admit it or not, even though Abraham Lincoln said, was it Abraham Lincoln that said, all men are created equal? Was it him? Am I tripping? Am I fucking up my American history right now? Even if all men were created equal, not every man ends up equal. That's just the truth. Dominance hierarchies exist for a reason. Some men don't know how to spell your correctly. So those people, their vote should not count as much as the rest of us who know how to spell your. I'm messing with you, man. What's your name? Termat, I'm messing with you. Guys, get the chapter 10,000 likes is cool. I'm about to leave soon, though, so you might want to hurry up with that. Or not, really. It doesn't even matter today. I appreciate you guys regardless. Let's see. Another censor, I've said I've improved on my game, but I don't try closing because I don't want to risk it at work. Why not? If you're working on the game and it's working well, just start closing. Okay, you know what? If you feel like closing is a big deal for you, cool. Go just improving the game. Don't close yet. Especially with girls that you're sure you'll see again. You know, if they're regulars, no need to close. To give it time. You know, take your time with it. Let's see. So I haven't been able to get numbers ETC. That's fine. Bro, I would fight back. Me personally wouldn't let Jace do me like that. You out here instigating. You out here instigating, Philip. That's so funny. Then Google some things and some lighting and Google some. I don't know what we're talking about. Termat. Just because you wife her doesn't mean her a wife. Termat, you gotta give me like a coherent like idea. What are we talking about right now, bro? Why do you think I'm too attracted to older women? Example, Layla Hormozy's wife. I know who Layla Hormozy is. You didn't have to tell me it was Alex's wife. I'm very well aware of who that is. I'm probably a bigger fan of her than Alex, to be honest. Because it's very clear she's like the actual brains behind the entire operation. Imagine having her as your wife. That's a $100 million wife. That's a very valuable skill. Alex Hormozy is a lucky man. Anyway, let me not talk about my plans to slide in when he fucks up, right? But yeah, being attracted to older women isn't bad. I would ask you what kind of experiences you've had from a young age for that to be triggered, for that to be the case. But it's not a bad thing. Don't feel guilty about it. Just was the dark name that you gave about trying to take another man's girlfriend. Which aspect of it did I talk about? There's a few aspects. In the club, we all fam, indeed. How personal do you think God is in our lives? A lot closer than you think. A lot closer than you think. I don't know if you know, but he is called the instigator in the Insta chat. Oh, is he now? I didn't realize Philip had a reputation for instigation. Hey, that rhymed. A reputation for instigation. That's nice. Okay, that's fair. Didn't know that. No, I heard that the new guy is not getting anything. The new guy for the Jamaican chick? Makes sense. Look at Jace being careful not to leak dark game. Exactly. Nah, Layla is just a reflection of Alex. Is more of people person, in my opinion. It's like, on one hand, I agree with that. On the other hand, you can tell their relationship is built on some interesting foundation. Let's just put it that way. And it's a good foundation, mind you. It's not like they got a great relationship. They do. Which is why I hope it fucks up. I hope to God that he fucks up and Layla begins to disrespect him and she begins to invalidate their history together and she's open, so I can get her. Yeah, I can use 100 million. Thank you. Thanks for fucking up in advance, Alex. If you ever see this in the future, hey, you did this to yourself. Nah, that's wrong with me. Don't do that, guys. Thou shalt not covet another man's wife. Don't do that. I'm just messing anyway. Let's see. Also, have you heard about African tribes where women have the power? They choose the men and how many are... I've heard of that. I've never seen them, and I don't think those tribes are very common where I'm from. My tribe is very patriarchal, very patriarchal. So, nah, I don't know what those would look like, but I'm sure they exist. Africa is a very diverse, very, amazing place. Today's though, get Jace to brag or leak dark. Nah, the discipline is up, yo. The discipline is up. You know what I'm saying? He could say it in a more indirect way. I'm like, I'm not interested in good-looking girls right now. That's a great line, actually. I might even steal that for myself. That's great. I'm not interested in good-looking girls right now. That might be one of the best push-pulls I've heard in years. You used to be a magician, so do you know Harry Houdini? Yes, I do. I know Harry Houdini, Chris Angels, of course. Go and do your research on who Troy von Scheibner is. Light-skinned dude from the UK. Troy von Scheibner. And then, of course, I'm always going to talk about Darren Brown. Darren Brown is that guy. Darren Brown is that guy. Let's see. This internet ain't for me. Anyways, young king, keep it up. I'm lighter skinned than you. Big up, Jace. At least you out here doing crime. You're old? Oh, that's embarrassing. I thought you were like a young kid saying all that shit. You got a gray beard and oh my God, you're somebody's dad? You're somebody's granddad saying all this shit in my comments? Yo, we need to take phones away from old people. I don't think they get the point. Jesus Christ, that was gross. You're old? Not much respect I just lost for you finding that out. I thought you were like a young kid trolling in the comments. You're like 20 years old. You look like 50, bro. Ew. Ugh. Oh my God. Anyway, big up to you, man. Gross. Let's see. I get that same feeling when I see a white girl listening to Vibe Cartel. I feel that. You are granddad? Gross. I have no respect for you. I can't even I almost called you sir. I retracted that. You're not a sir. You're a goofball. You're too old to be talking like that in my comments. Come on. Shaping up. Shaping the fuck up. You're old. You're old. Stop it. And also, if that is the case, that I am in your mind doing crime, bitch, go do yours. You're old now. You're running out of time. You don't have time to make it anymore. Go make it now. Go do whatever the fuck you think I'm doing. Go do it. Jesus. Someone said I have no patience for older people, and I'm beginning to realize they might be right. Because, like, you have had so much time to figure it out. You don't get to come around and start acting, no, you're old. Figure it out. Let's see. Ain't it against the Bible to wish for someone's downfall or something? Is it against the Bible to wish for someone's downfall? I gotta think about because it's one thing to plot on someone's downfall. To wish for it? Not pray for it, just wish? I don't know. I gotta have to check. Let's see. No, Jace, I don't mean it like that. I mean, we cosplaying other cultures more than our own. Some people from my country think they're Arabs. Oh, interesting. Well, if that's the case, that's the reverse of what I talked about, right? In that case, they're allowing someone else's culture to influence them a lot more than they should influence their own culture, right? It's one thing to, like, carry tools that you need for, doing business, for communication and stuff like that. It's another thing to actually, like, take on someone else's culture. Like, that's a little too far. Do you think it's okay to harm your enemy, especially if they harm your business? Absolutely. Never fuck with a man's bread. Destroy them. Right? Again, assuming they're actually... This is where I gotta always put, like, disclaimers in there, because people are too sensitive. Some people take something that someone does or says and takes it like, oh, this is a massive blow to my reputation in business. It's like, no, it's not. You'll be all right. So don't go guns blazing every time something small happens. With that said, though, if there is a massive deliberate attempt, kill him. Straight up. It was a joke. Isn't that too harsh? Ha ha ha. What joke? What are we talking about? From my country. Oh, yeah, there that one. Took your advice, by the way. Gonna start. I read that one too. What are the best retail jobs in your opinion? Any of them. It doesn't really. Anyone that puts you in front of people. A lot of black bleach and stuff hate themselves. Yeah. Make him cry, Jace. I want to see it. I'm not interested in good-looking girls right now. Oh, the joke? Is that... If that was a joke, that's not bad. Again, still a good line. I still think it's a great push pull if you want to use it as that. You know what I mean? I still... It's literally a good push pull. I'm not interested in good-looking girls right now. Because you give her a little hope when you say that. It's not bad. It's not bad. You know what I mean? Tupac told us about fake people like you. Shout out to Tupac, but he wasn't a gangster for real. Hey, how's it going, Kay? How you doing, man? Yo, Carlos, how you doing? I've noticed this too. Something about giving to... I read that one too. That's true. Didn't you say that'll affect their decision making, which stop me when people are nearby? Yes, but I still want, like, again, it's about you now. I want you to learn how to pull the trigger. It's very important. You know what I mean? Jace called the babe a booze hound and she blocked me. A booze hound is crazy. But her blocking you isn't a bad thing. If anything, it means that there's emotional investment there. The embarrassment wasn't on my mind, but that distracted me. Fair enough. What happened to Israel Adesanya? He fell off. He did. That was an interesting fight, too, because he was winning that. And then he lost to, what's his name? Shit. He's a champion. How can I forget the Dricus Duplessis. He was winning that fight, but then Dricus went into overdrive and said, "Nope, time to wrestle." That was smart. That was very smart. Thinking too deeply about it when it'll be a perfect time to ask. Yeah. How do you set up a dating platform? Huh? Like an app? Is that what you're asking me? I don't know. The people who call authentic people inauthentic are usually the inauthentic people themselves. Usually. Why did it send twice? TikTok bugging, indeed. Is fixing world hunger and stuff too big of a dream? Honestly, fixing world hunger, like once you get into the problem of world hunger and what it takes to fix it, you realize it really isn't even that hard to fix. For real. World hunger happens because humans have created something artificial in the world called scarcity. Scarcity is not real. Scarcity is not a real thing. If you allow the earth to do what it does naturally, which is continuously replenish into perpetuity, there's no such thing as scarcity. There's no such thing as running out. It doesn't exist. The earth is continuously replenishing, and that's for every resource on it, including the resources that we've been told are not replenishing, like oil. Oh, it's only a certain amount, so it'll run out. It doesn't. It's all continuously replenishing. Scarcity is not real. Let's see. Jace, what was the... Oh, they read that one. Dark game, sneaky fucks. Don't do it at work, LOL. Do it before and another guy got mad because he wanted her. I had to leave. Huh? You had to leave because another guy wanted the girl you wanted at work? Why? Sounds like you ran away. Why? Why'd you run away? Let's see. How come black got colonized, not the other way around, and the richest man in history was black? Those are two entirely different questions. The black people in general got colonized because of our own incompetence. We were too busy fighting wars with each other. If we were more united, that wouldn't happen. So it was necessary for it to happen, if anything. Sometimes God punishes in harsh ways, but it is what it is. The idea is to not make the same mistakes of the past, right? I don't know if you know, but he is called Philip the Instigator. I read that one too. Let's see. I already read all these. Implement doubt between relationship and there was any difference than if she didn't. What are we talking about? Huh? Let's see. What's your archetype? Archetype for what? Everybody's calling him Grandpa in the chat. That's so funny. Why he look like Charleston White? That's crazy. Let it go, Unc. Shit. They flaming you in the comments, bro. Wanna raid Grandpa? My gen will destroy you. Oh no. Let's see. Do you think it's okay to harm your... I already read that one. I gotta scroll through all these comments of you guys like roasting the guy. Chill out. Let's get back to questions. What was the answer you gave for wishing on downfall? I said it might be okay. Don't pray on it, you know. Don't go sacrificing the goat for it or anything. And don't try to do it yourself, unless of course you're provoked. But nah, you can wish. Why not? It's okay to wish. Cross your fingers. Just wish. There's nothing wrong with that. It wouldn't have ended like that if I kicked him out. Poor guy. Oh nah. Sometimes people gotta learn. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Tupac was gangster when push came to shove. In some cases, yeah. He had the same ideas like you. Similar. All revolutionists have the same idea. Not to call myself a revolutionist or anything, but when you think very different than every other people, you tend to come to the same conclusions. Does Castillo have game? Yes. He's a very confident guy. Have you seen the recent AI movies? They're scary. Yes, I have, and they're very interesting. I don't see that as scary. I think it's very interesting how quickly they've come, though. How impressive it is that they've improved so rapidly in such a short period of time. The editing, the scripting, the quality of these videos, they're pretty fun. They're pretty cool. Very soon, there's actually a channel I follow. I can't remember the name of it. But the productions of these stories are fucking amazing. In general, isn't game easier with black women? Because that's what I'm thinking. Essentially, yeah. But don't tell him I told you that. What do you think of Hill running up on Alex to not do anything but talk? Jamal Hill running up on Alex Pereira? That happened? I did not hear about this. Is that true? Jamal Hill ran up on Alex Pereira? Is that what I'm hearing? That better not fucking have happened. That's a bad idea. Running up on someone that doesn't speak English, talking about I just want to talk, that might be taken as a threat. It's not a good idea. You know what I mean? It wouldn't... I already read that one. Jace, please expose Tupac that he was a fake gangster. I already did. I made a video about that a while ago. I think he did really begin to fit into the role he was playing, but it was a role, and people need to know that. I don't really see, and this is going to offend someone out there, but I don't care. I don't see Tupac Shakur as a character any differently than I see Drake. It's the same formula, but one is beloved and the other is hated. But it's the same formula. A guy that comes into a world that he knows nothing about, takes on the character, the role, and lives it to the fullest. Now, to be fair to Tupac did find himself in actual gang-related incidents and shootouts and shit like that. So he actually got to live the life for real and, tell a tale about it. Drake, on the other hand, has done nothing but shield himself from the gangster lifestyle he's been talking about. You see what I'm saying? So, just to make it very clear as to why Tupac is more beloved. He deserves to be more beloved, for sure. But don't get it twisted. He wasn't out here running around the streets of LA from a young age. No, he was a fucking drama art student. He was a theater kid. Very similar to Drake. Drake was a theater kid too. Shit. He probably had dreams of being on Broadway and shit. And then, one way or the other, he gets a role in the movie playing a gangster, and then he just never drops the role. That becomes him. Shout out to, what movie was it? Boys in the Hood? This nigga's scared. In Germany, 95% of rappers are like that. Well, there you go. It doesn't even make sense for any rappers to be gangster in Germany. It's Germany. What gang do y'all have there? What stringent gang lifestyle do y'all really have over there? I'm not saying there's no crime syndicate. It definitely is in every country. I'm just saying it probably doesn't look the way it looks like in America. In Nigeria, we don't have gangs either. We don't have gangs. We have cults, which is worse, right? Imagine an op that wants to kill you, not just in body, but in mind, soul, and spirit. Like, they'll attack you physically with guns and machetes, but then they also go into the spiritual realm to go fuck with you that way. That's, yeah, pretty sick, right? Exactly. So we have cults. America has the Bloods, the Pyrus, the Crips. We have Eye and Ogbunis and the Pirates and shit like that. It gets real deep where I'm from, right? None of which I'm affiliated with, mind you. You know, I was on the streets, but only to play soccer barefoot. That's all I did in the streets. That's all I did in the streets. Talk to girls, play soccer barefoot, buy akara and price suya. That's it. That's all I did in the streets. I was not out here doing the most. I promise you. I had parents that would kill me if I tried any of that shit. So yeah. Let's see. All right, to go back down there. And I don't know if Tupac was gay. I wouldn't go as far as saying he was gay. I wouldn't go that far. You know, there's a lot of things pointing to it. But I grew up in Nigeria. Just because a man is feminine doesn't automatically mean he's gay. I realize in America that's what it means. But in Nigeria, if you find a feminine guy, usually that just means he's going to get a masculine girlfriend. You know what I mean? But whatever. Tupac was very flamboyant, though, if you know what I mean. I feel like I got to say Diddy. No Diddy after doing this. No Diddy. No Diddy. At what point does hypergamy stop, or do women always want better? They always... want better is such a lazy and incorrect way to define hypergamy. It's not that hypergamy means women always want better. Hypergamy means women always want to feel safe. So they're always going to compare their current situation to what they believe they can get in terms of like how much safer they can feel. Or more specifically, the areas they feel unsafe in and how well they think in their mind they have the ability to plug up those areas. Does that make sense? So hypergamy is dual. It's a dual strategy for women. They're looking to fulfill two sides of it. The protection side and the provision side. But that doesn't mean they're always looking for better. It just means they're always testing and asking themselves, is the situation I'm in the best situation I can be in for me right now? If the answer is no, then they start looking for replacements. But it's really not hard to get them to go yes every single time. It's like the criteria for what it takes to satisfy a woman hypergamously, it's actually very easy. It's very easy. It's not as high as you might think. It really isn't. You know, how suddenly they develop technology so fast. Yeah. Shout out to them. AI is learning very quickly. What do you think about Zerk's game? He calls it brother archetype. And what is the difference? I don't know what any of that means. I don't know what these words mean. Like, what is brother archetype? What does he mean by archetype to begin with? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah, look up on TikTok. Alex gave him some gloves so they can go, but he'll just let them drop. Oh, that makes sense. Hill's not going to go into the ring with Alex again. Not for a while. Yeah, when attracting her, be more teasy like a brother. When in a relationship, be more like a father to lead her. Oh, I see. So he teases like a brother, which, by the way, is very similar to the advice I give when I say tease her like she's your little sister, or your bratty little sister. And then he says be more like a father in a relationship, which, again, very similar to the advice I give when I talk about leadership, you know, and taking responsibility for women. So, yeah, he's correct. Yeah, it's dualistic. It's all perspective, though. Not hard to convince her the RP will deceive you. Exactly. The RP is designed to make men feel like this is like a lot more complex than it is. It really isn't. You know, there's a woman out there with a homeless bum of a boyfriend, and she's completely fulfilled in her hypergamous doubt. She has no hypergamous doubt. You know what I mean? Very comfortable in that situation for whatever reason. So it's really not that hard. At what point does I read that one? Yo, I did an MMA class and went against a heavyweight UFC fighter, and I'm bantamweight. That sounds like hell. because they're slow, so you can get around them quickly. But god damn it, they hit hard. You know. LMAO, it was Juice. Oh, it was Juice. So true. My bad. I've literally watched all these movies like one time. I just watched Friday the other day for the third time. When was this? Thanksgiving. You know, I'm Nigerian, so there's a lot of things I have to, you know, there's traditions you gotta keep up with and stuff like that. If I say Osofia in London, every Nigerian knows what movie I'm talking about. No one else knows what I'm talking about. So it's kind of the same way, right? It's a culture thing. So I get it. Let's see. Jace, you ever been in Romania? Never been to Romania, but I do have a Romanian friend. And he tells me what it's like. And apparently y'all got bad bitches over there. So shout out to Romania. Shout out to Romania. From everything I hear about Romania, it's really just like Nigeria with extra steps. It's Nigeria, but more. There's more of an emphasis on camaraderie almost, which is kind of interesting for a European country. Usually that's not how it's set up in European countries. Let's see. But like most of Africa, the gangs are rooted in politics. Not really. I can get why people might say that looking from the outside in, but not really. Not all of them. I think in the war-ridden countries for sure, yeah, obviously, but sometimes it's just about, you know, influence and power and rule over certain territories. You know, in Africa, cults are very concerned about territories. You know what I mean? Jace, you've been gone a little long. We missed you. Please drop some dark game on us. Let us know you're back. You can't see me right now? Probably asked this before, but this is important. How do you protect yourself spiritually? The best way by far to protect yourself spiritually is getting yourself covered. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is understanding the role of your highest consciousness. You know, whatever you want to call it. Highest consciousness, God, guardian angel, birth star, infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it. What protects you spiritually is how strongly you connect yourself to that. Or more specifically, how closely you begin to see yourself as that, the I am, Christ consciousness, right? The more you can remove the veil and the separation you have in your head from your highest consciousness and you, the stronger you become. The stronger that connection becomes, and as a result, the more protected you are. Does that make sense? That's what, like when Jesus said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. That was him declaring that he is indeed the very embodiment of highest consciousness, of infinite intelligence, which is why he moved the way he did. Right? Intelligence is such an interesting thing. Like I like to think about God from an intelligence point of view, right? Not to say that that's what God is, just nothing but intelligence. He's more than that, but if you think about it from purely an intelligence point of view, intelligence works in a weird way because when you're applying it to its highest degree, it almost feels at some point like you're not doing it on purpose. It just flows out of you. Like you break down a dam and the water just flows out. And everything you do is inspired. And it's genius. And all the puzzles fit perfectly. Like we're talking about Kendrick Lamar. I bet you there's times where he's written a rap song and he'll look at it and be like, oh, that's a dope triple entendre. Right? But then he'll put it out and then his fans listen to it and be like, whoa, that's a cool quintuple entendre. And he's like, quintuple? There was only 3 layers to that bar. How did they find 2 extra layers? That's what divine intelligence looks like. Right? When it's just flowing out of you. You can only achieve that when you completely align yourself with it in mind, body, and spirit. You have to really think of yourself as completely one with it. And like, not just think of it, like thoughts are good in one thing, but like really embody that shit. Like really feel it, really accept it to be true. That you are indeed one with infinite intelligence. That you are infinite intelligence. When Jesus was leaving, he said, "Greater things shall ye do in my name," right? Which, rough translation, greater things shall you do in the exact same nature as me. Whenever you see people say the name of Jesus, people think that it's the actual name that matters. And I'm not saying the name itself doesn't carry weight or authority, it does, but what it actually means to say in the name of Jesus, it means to say in the nature of Jesus, to do it like he did it. Right? In the manner of Jesus Christ. Right? These are things you can like do on your own time, like research. You don't have to take my word for it. But in the name and nature and manner of Jesus Christ, which is to do it in the way he did it. And how did he do it? In the name and nature and manner of God, of the Father. You see. So when Moses was sent down from the mountain and he asked God, "What should I tell them you are? Who should I tell them sent me?" I am. Or as I would put it, I are. Right? The is. The being. The God being. I'm probably not making sense to a lot of people right now. Getting a little too esoteric. But yeah, that's what it takes. Real divine protection is being grounded in what you are and who you are. That's the real protection. That's all there is to protecting yourself spiritually. Okay? It's important. I wish when I was young I could get paid to have an opinion. I'll tell you right now, it's a good life. Yeah, it's dualistic. Yes, indeed. Pac said it himself. He's not a gangster. In the 2000s, he wanted to quit rap to form a political party. I did not know that. If that's true, then that's wonderful. And I wish people talked about that more, if that's true. Because that is in line with what he really was. He wasn't no gangster. He was supposed to be an orator. Rap just happened to be the medium, but really he should have been all over the country doing speeches. He has such an amazing cadence, such an amazing way of speaking, and emphasizing certain words during his sentences. You know? Pac died in 96, unfortunately. I know. Unfortunate, but it's true. I need to retake the course again because this chick pulled away after I got emotional from my dad passing. Nothing wrong with getting emotional when your dad passes. That's a massive moment in a man's life when your father passes away, right? Or so I'm told. But if she can't survive that with you, it's okay to let her go. Times like that will happen. Things like that will happen. I always tell you guys, never judge the strength of a relationship by how well you survive the good times, right? By how much you enjoy the good times, but how well you survive the bad times. If she can't survive that with you, then she probably shouldn't be with you. You know what I mean? So Romanians are just Euro-Nigerians. That's funny. Literally. In fact, in my mind, I have a Nigeria for every country. For every continent, I mean. The Nigeria of America is Mexico. They're the closest to us. In terms of, like, culture. Now, economic strength, that would probably be America. But in terms of, like, our culture, very similar. Like, a burrito is literally just rice and beans. And while going, it's rice and stew. The difference is they wrap it up in this thing called a tortilla. So they make a burrito. We don't wrap it, we just eat it like that, right? We pair it with some moi moi, you know. My mouth is watering right now just thinking about it. You know, but yeah, like culturally, a lot of their values, beliefs, and priorities are very similar to ours. In Europe, that would probably be either Romania. I'll put it like this: half Romania, half Turkey, because Turkey would represent the northern part of Nigeria, and Romania would represent the south. It's very close to how the south looks in Nigeria. And then in Asia, that would be a mixture of, I want to say, Cambodia and the Philippines is what Nigeria would be. Now again, economically it would probably be more like China, but I mean, you know, with the way the cultures are set up, Cambodia, Philippines. Oh, a little bit of Malaysia as well. Actually, Malaysians have Nigerian accents, which is very funny. When they speak in English, they sound like us, which is interesting. Yeah, you spit when it comes to spiritual protection. Indeed. And to summarize, spiritual protection is removing the veil from my current self to higher self and God. Yes. The closer you get to God, the more protected you are. But people don't know what getting close to God means. They think it's just reading their Bible. I mean, don't get it twisted. All that stuff is good. Please read your Bible or the Quran. But understand, it's the understanding of the word that gets you there. Obviously, you kind of are limited to your level of consciousness when you're reading the Bible. Depending on your level of consciousness, you're going to interpret the Bible a certain way. And that's fine. It's not a bad thing. We all got to start from somewhere. But it's the whole point is reading the Bible to understand the Word of God and understand the person and nature of God, so that you can understand how to become more like that. That's why Jesus was the way he was, because he understood perfectly the nature of God. Does that make sense? You've been to North Korea, is crazy. Jace, my country has a tradition where there's a new leader elected. I don't know what that emoji is poured on them. Milk is poured on them. Do you do the same? Like, no, not really. We don't really do that to our leaders. I'm sure there's like some kind of spiritual significance to it somehow. Because in my country, when, you know, like for instance, here's something we do. When it's your birthday, you get water poured on you, sand poured on your head, and you get beat up with a cane. Like you have your feet whipped with a cane. This is your birthday, by the way, your birthday celebration. People do that to you. Sounds harsh, but again, there's a spiritual significance. There's a traditional significance, which is humility. Humble yourself. You might be going up in the world and getting wiser in the world and getting more experience, but remember to be humble. And remember that it takes the community to forge your identity and your perspective, right? So there's like a very strong reason behind it. It's built into camaraderie, right? Or with camaraderie built into it, you know? Yes, Moses. As Gurdjieff said, life is only real when I am. Yes, a really good way to put it. Recently, people been letting me get away with things, e.g. landlord letting me not have to pay rent and him even paying me money back. Interesting. Would you call yourself a man of honor? I try to be, you know. It's a hard thing and it's a daily thing. I really do try to be honorable in my ways. But honor is one of those hard ones because it's very easy to be dishonorable by mistake. You can err in your ways, not because you wanted to be dishonorable, but because you did something that in your mind at the time you thought was the right thing to do, but it turns out from the bird's eye view you did something wrong. You know, honor is very tricky, you know, but I try to be, for sure. Recently people have been, oh, you read that one. Among some other really good opportunities popping up in my life, could it be some spiritual reason behind all this luck? Oh no, there's no such thing as luck. It's synchronicity. Clearly, you found yourself, for whatever reason, either by accident or on purpose, in a very good positional pocket. You found yourself in a place of blessing and honor and grace. Take advantage of it. These things don't usually last forever. There's seasons and cycles to it. So take advantage of it as much as you can. Remember to save up and gather and store up. Very important. And remember to spread the blessing around. It lasts longer when you spread it around, right? Think of yourself as a conduit for blessings, as opposed to just a storehouse for it, right? What's an honorable thing to do you try doing daily? Like charity, helping others is definitely one. Shit, this live right here is a good example, you know? There's a lot of people that will listen to my lives and, you know, will just take the information that I'm giving away for completely free and go and completely change their life and perspectives. I'm helping. I'm doing my best to help, you know. Unfortunately, will it work for everybody in terms of like, will everyone run with it? No. The advice is good. The advice is solid. But not everyone, because of, you know, laziness and maybe some kind of something missing in translation or something, will not take it and run with it. But for those of you that do, I just helped. You're welcome. What's the most attractive feature for a face in your opinion? Cheekbones, eyes, lips, etc. I don't think that I've moved past the need for certain features, to be honest. I just look at harmony now. You know, because I've been proven wrong too many times in my own mind to still worry about features. I used to be a features guy, like, oh, I love these kind of eyes. I love these kind of full lips. I love these kind of cheekbones. After finding myself actually genuinely falling in love with women that had the opposite, but still were fucking beautiful to me, I'm like, oh yeah, it's not the features that really matter. It's not the features. It's the harmony. All right? It's the symmetry. That's what really matters. How forgiving are women who were once highly invested in a guy to his sudden neediness? Not very forgiving at all. You get some time you can buy because of the history you might have together, but after that you gotta get your shit together or else they're leaving. You know, you'll definitely have more leeway than a new guy, for instance, but be careful. 5 book suggestions. I have an entire book recommendations list on my YouTube. Go check that out. Let's see. Nigerian or Caribbean? What were we talking about there? In the Caribbean, fam, indeed. I didn't read that one. Yeah, if she can't handle you when you're at your most vulnerable state, let her go. I would say that too. What's the most I didn't read that one. Should you have mercy on your enemies? No, you really, like, if it's your enemy, like, you know, because what makes someone an enemy is an ability to harm you, which means they are a threat. You might want to just take away their ability to do that. If they genuinely are not a threat, because there's a lot of people that think that they're your enemy who aren't threats anyway, so you can just kind of poke at them forever. It doesn't really matter. I have a lot of those, you know, on the internet and my real life, people that I'll just bully for no reason for the rest of my life and theirs, you know, because they're not really enemies. They're not a threat. They can't really do anything. But real enemies, like actual threats, destroy them. Yes, absolutely. Is there a problem if a girl is trying to be perfect for you? She goes through depression and some shit. That's like what's supposed to happen. I don't know about, like, the depression part is confusing me, it's throwing me off, but the perfect for you part makes sense. That's like how women behave when they like you. They are looking for an opportunity to be perfect for you. Literally. I want to talk about hypergamy. Before, you said the bar isn't as high as you think, but I've also heard you say that they want the best deal they can get, so I'm a bit confused. So think about it like this, because those two things are not mutually exclusive. They're literally the same thing. You're looking at it like it's opposite because they have different hyperboles in different directions. So let me explain it like this. They are looking for the best deal they can get. But if you're in the marketplace looking for the best deal on, say, a microwave or a toaster, are you necessarily looking for the most expensive item? No. You're looking for the item that you can afford that gives you the most bang for your buck. You're not looking for the best item. You're not looking for the most expensive one, the highest premium item. You're just looking for the one that you can afford that will give you the best bang for your buck. Do you see the point now? Do you get it? So it's not about, you know, getting the best ever. They want the best for them. It's that simple. Are you an immigrant? Yes, Nigerian. How do we understand God so we can be in alignment with Him? Read the Word. Understand the Bible. Honestly, one of the best ways to understand God, I've come to find, is understanding women. Because in women is the nature of God. The way they behave is very similar. That love and emotional attachment, but then that also very quick, very swift 180-degree turn of impersonality is very godlike. You know, it's very, very godlike. There's a small piece of God in everybody. If you look hard enough, you'll see it. So understanding people, understanding the workings of the universe, it gets you to understand the God we're dealing with, you know? Let's see. Is the live going to be uploaded to YouTube? I'll decide later. I'll decide later. Is there a problem if a girl is trying to be... Oh, there is no one. And no, there is no problem. Being a good person is doing good when you're capable of evil and having mercy. That's what I'm trying to do. Sure. They love you this minute, then next minute they're indifferent. Exactly. And it's happened to every single prophet in the Bible with God. Every single one. They've all had their God is with me, no one is against me moments. And then very next moment they're like, God, why have you forsaken me? Very next moment, right? So that's very similar to how God works too. That's why, as much as I might not necessarily agree with it, I'm not mad when I hear people say God is female. Not that God is not female or male. Like, he's not tied down by gender or anything like that. But, yeah, it's not wrong. Got the live to 10K. I appreciate that. Thank you. How about when you're fighting someone due to circumstance, war, street fights, you see mercy on them? Nah. If the fight has already started, destroy them, man. You know, completely wreck them. Always, like in MMA, don't just knock them down. Hammer fist the motherfucker. Even if they're already out, just to be sure. A girl I used to fuck with at church before I stopped going, got a boyfriend and brings him. How would you handle that? You introduce yourself to the boyfriend and you make fun of her with him. That's the best thing to do. Go up to the boy, oh, who's your new boyfriend? Introduce me, don't be rude. Hey man, what's going on? Hey, be careful with this one, man. She's you know already, you know. You become his friend and you tease her. That's how you do it. Are you Democrat? No, I'm Jason. Marcus Aurelius is my favorite Roman emperor and only onto because he had everything and did good. Oh, fair enough. Shout out to Marcus Aurelius. Let's see. They love you this minute. Exactly. No, put it on YouTube. No, put it on YouTube. Maybe. I never thought about it that way, but that makes a lot of sense. Women representing God. Yeah. Live lagged on forgiving neediness. Question, can you repeat it? Neediness. Oh yeah, I said if you have history with the woman, you have a little more leeway than if you don't. But neediness is one of those unforgivable sins when it comes to women, because a woman is put on earth for you as a man to be the ultimate test of your psychological and emotional strength. Neediness is just about the best way to fail that test, right? So neediness is a sign that you cannot do without the woman, and women cannot be with a man that can't do without them. They can't have respect for that man, you know? So you only get so much leeway before they get out there. Be careful with that. The way I see it, the enemy on today can't defend themselves, at least for circumstance fights. Fair enough. That works too. Just drop that game at this point. Stop going to cause of the C word and came back to that. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't irritated. You stopped going to church because of that? That's crazy. You let your relationship with God suffer because some chick brought a new guy to church? Is wild. How you going to explain that to Jesus? You get to heaven, Jesus is like, my child, you stopped going to church. Now you're going to hell because of that. Relax. I'm kidding. You're not going to go to hell if you stop going to church. Relax. Church is within you. Relax. But yeah, that's silly. Don't let someone else's decision making affect your fucking life. That's stupid. You know, damn, basically a cardinal sin. I'm working on it. Yes, neediness is a cardinal sin. That's why it's very hard to get back from. What do? I seen my girl calling another man Big Daddy. Oh shit. Oh, and your name is Diddy. Listen, Mr. Diddy, you need to buy more baby oil. Fuck y'all, that was funny to me. When the enemy surrendered, am I not allowed to fight them because of Islam? I don't know what the rules are in Islam, man. I have no idea. You might want to consult your imam. Nah, the cough, not because of that. Oh, I see. Fair enough. Okay. I was finna say, like, that's not a good reason to stop going to church. But anyway, I literally had to leave like 10 minutes ago, so let's go. Last questions before I get out of here. It's shut down, and I don't know. I just haven't been since. That was 4 years ago. It was about to be 5 years ago. Don't worry about that. It's a little too late for that now, right? When a girl wants to what exactly, Mr. Kennedy? What do you do when a girl wants to fight you? What do you say when a girl wants to fight you? Like, what's the reason when a girl wants to fight you? I need context here. Appreciate the wisdom. No problem, man. I try. It's not my doing. That's infinite intelligence. That's God flowing through me. How do you build a nuclear weapon and a strong country like the U.S.? If you still think nuclear power is the greatest form of power on the planet, you're a few years behind. That's all I'm gonna say on it. Nuclear power is old news. Nuclear power is old news. Any power you can't fully control, even after the devastation, is not power. It's a ticking time bomb that you're just holding right now. Yeah, feel me? How dare you yawn? I'll be tired if I want to. Fuck you. Anyway, all right. I gotta go, guys. It's been fun. It's been real. I appreciate you. Please go and get my free course, Self-Belief, so you understand exactly how to build real reassurance and confidence in yourself. If you want my flagship course, The Interview, where I talk about how to completely incorporate a girl into your life from scratch, go get that, link in the bio. Or if you just want to work with me one-on-one, schedule a call with me. All those links are in the bio. Click my icon, go to my page, hit the link tree. You should see all those options there. It's been Jace, your favorite scientist. With all this information, what you must.